All right, so today we're diving into AI video generation. You guys sent over some really cool stuff about Sora, this new thing from OpenAI. And wow, this stuff is seriously next level.
Yeah,
We're talking AI that can create videos just from descriptions you type. You literally write what you want to see, and Sora makes it happen.
it's wild.
So today we're going to unpack what Sora can do, where it kind of stumbles, and why this matters, honestly, for basically everything.
Yeah, it really feels like a game changer.
It's not just about how impressive it is either, though it definitely is that. The big deal here is that Sora can take what you tell it and understand it, not just as words, but as a whole scene playing out in time.
Exactly, it gets that.
And we're not talking some blurry jumble of images. This is up to a minute-long, high-quality video, and it gets the details right, even the really specific ones from what you wrote to describe it.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
there's this one example, a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon.
Right.
And the prompt went on, described her clothes, the whole mood, really specific stuff, and Sora got it, like, perfectly. Looks like a movie, seriously.
It's crazy how good it is. This isn't just, like throwing together some old video clips or slapping a filter on existing stuff.
Uh-huh.
Sora's creating something totally new based on all those little details in the prompt, which means it's understanding things on a way deeper level than any AI we've seen before, I think.
And it can do more than just realism. They tried some weird stuff on it, like a gorgeously rendered papercraft world of a coral reef. And Sora, it actually worked. We're talking photorealism, 3D animation, even this cool stop motion style. It's pretty
I
incredible.
know, it's like, how does it even...
There's another one, drone view of waves crashing against the rugged cliffs along Big Sur, and they even put in a little lighthouse in the distance, so I put it right there.
It's those little details, the lighthouse, the specific clothes, even just the overall feeling. That's what makes Sora different. It's not just making a generic scene. It's capturing the exact vision from the prompt.
It's like this AI understands what looks good. Speaking of understanding, what about emotions? They
Yeah.
tried that too, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. One example was this prompt describing an animated scene featuring a close-up of a short, fluffy monster kneeling beside a melting red candle. And they specifically asked for this mood of wonder and curiosity.
So, did it work?
It did, and it's kind of amazing. The video actually captured those emotions and how the monster looked, which shows Sora can get not just what a scene looks like, but also how it feels.
It's not just making pixels, it's making stories. Wow. And get this, it can do more than just these single beautiful shots. Sora can even handle more complex stuff with multiple shots in a row.
Like that one, yeah. Camera following behind a white vintage SUV as it speeds up a steep dirt road. To make that work, you need a world that makes sense, right? The SUV, the background, it's all got to feel like part of the same shot, even when the view changes.
That's got to be so hard to do well, even for a person filming.
Yeah, and based on what you shared, Sora can actually keep everything consistent between those different shots, which means it's remembering what it's showing you, it understands the whole scene, and can keep track of everything to make sure it all looks right.
Okay, that's kind of blowing my mind. But it gets weirder because they didn't just stick to cars and landscapes. Remember that one with the reflections in the window of a train traveling through the Tokyo suburbs?
Oh yeah, now that was impressive.
I mean, you've got the inside of the train, the view outside changing every second, and the reflections got to match perfectly.
Uh,
That is a lot of stuff to get right. But from the description, it sounds like Sora nailed it.
Totally nailed it.
It really makes you wonder, like, where does the AI stop and the art start, you know?
It's getting kind of blurry.
Totally. But like anything new, it's not all perfect. The stuff you sent mentions some things Sora doesn't quite get yet, and I'm kind of curious about those.
Yeah, no technology is perfect right out the gate. Sora's still being developed, and the stuff you sent mentioned that physics, especially in complicated scenes, that's one area where it needs work.
They had that thing with the cookie, right? Something about the bite marks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sora can show someone biting a cookie, but it doesn't always get the bite mark itself quite right,
Mm-hmm.
which means it gets the action, but the way objects change when something else interacts with them, like getting squished or broken or whatever,
Yeah.
that part's still being worked on.
So even AI has trouble with the little things sometimes. Weirdly reassuring, kinda.
It is. It reminds you that AI learning is a process, like anything else. It's still figuring out how things work visually that cause an effect. The material also mentions that it has some trouble with spatial reasoning,
It's spatial reasoning.
like knowing which side is left and which is right consistently, and getting those things right that happen over a period of time.
So no robot animators taking over just yet.
Not quite, but those little hiccups, they're actually super helpful for the people at OpenAI.
Really? How seems like bad news at first glance.
It's like if you want to make something better, you got to know where it's messing up, right? By finding those weak spots, they know what to work on and make the whole thing even more powerful down the line. It's
Mm.
like fine-tuning a really complex machine. You got to find the friction to make it run smooth.
That makes sense. So it's not that Sora's bad, more like it's just not done yet. Speaking of which, the stuff we have here also talked about how OpenAI is focusing on making sure this is all, responsible, even this early on.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like they're taking the whole what could this tech do thing very seriously.
Absolutely. They've been really vocal about wanting to do AI right, and how they're handling Sora shows that.
Hmm.
Like, they're doing this thing called red teaming.
Red teaming. Okay, hold up. Are we talking like tiny red outfits for the AI? What is that?
Not quite.
Mm.
Red teaming means they bring in outside experts like cybersecurity people, ethics folks, even artists, and they basically tell them to try and break the system.
You mean make Sora create something bad or fake or like harmful content?
Exactly. By figuring out how someone could use it for bad stuff, OpenAI can build in protections from the start, make it way harder to actually use Sora for, evil.
So it's like giving the AI a moral compass in a way.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. It's making sure the tech matches up with, like, human values and doesn't cause harm. And it goes further than just red teaming. They're also developing tools to spot Sora-made stuff specifically.
Wait, a Sora detector? Like something that can tell if a video is made by AI? That's some sci-fi stuff right there.
It's becoming real, though, which is wild.
Ah.
And it's super important when you think about fake news and those deep fakes.
No way.
Those are getting crazy good.
Yeah.
Being able to tell if a video is real or made by AI, that's going to be huge.
I can see why that's important, especially these days.
Exactly. Plus, OpenAI is looking into ways to embed info metadata directly into videos made with Sora.
So it's like a digital fingerprint that says, hey, an AI made this.
Pretty much. That way, even if something goes viral, gets shared out of context, people know it wasn't a human behind the camera, or keyboard in this case.
So transparency is the big thing here.
Exactly. They want it to be super obvious when you're seeing AI-generated stuff, so viewers can decide how to take it. But it's not all about just the tech itself. OpenAI is also really big on collaboration and being open about what they're doing.
How so?
Well, they're talking to everyone, politicians, teachers, artists, to get their take and figure out how Sora might affect things.
So they're not just like holed up in a lab somewhere. They're actually thinking about how people will use this in the real world.
Absolutely. They want a conversation about responsible AI, making sure everyone has a voice in shaping it.
That's good to hear that they're thinking about that kind of stuff. But like, zoom out for a sec. What does this all mean, big picture? What could Sora do to, well, everything?
That's the big question, right? And honestly, it has people kind of freaking out in a good way and a whoa, hold on, way, all at the same time.
Makes sense.
We're talking about tech that could totally change how we make and watch videos, and that's a big deal.
It's bigger than just fancier special effects in movies, right?
Way bigger. Think about education. Imagine videos that are like custom made for how each student learns best, or using Sora to show like historical events, but you're actually there.
Whoa, like
All right.
stepping into a history book.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just school. Imagine what architects could do. Building something and you could walk through it virtually before they lay a single brick. Or filmmakers who don't have a ton of money can suddenly make those crazy effects that used to cost a fortune.
So anyone with like an internet connection could basically have their own Hollywood studio.
Kinda, yeah. And while some people are worried about what it means for jobs in the art world, it also makes things way more accessible. Like someone who doesn't know how to make videos the normal way, they can still bring their ideas to life.
It's like giving everyone a voice, people who might not have been heard before. That's actually really cool. But you said it before, big power, big responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So ethically speaking, what worries should people have about this?
Good point. Anytime you have tech this powerful, there's going to be a dark side. Like, what about people using it to make fake news that looks real or to mess with people's emotions in a bad way?
So it's not just the tool, it's how we use it.
Exactly. We got to figure out the rules, how to use this ethically, like making sure it's obvious when a video is made by AI, dealing with any biases and how it works, and making sure people's work is protected when AI can just create stuff.
That's a lot to figure out, but it seems like AI video generation is here to stay, and it's only going to get better, or at least more advanced, right?
Oh yeah, it's not going away. And these conversations about using it right, how it affects society, those are more important now than ever.
So, big takeaways today. Sora is this crazy powerful AI that can make videos like nothing we've seen before. It's still got some kinks to work out, but the potential here is huge. And luckily, OpenAI is trying to do it responsibly, which is a relief.
Totally agree. And as you're out there in the world, seeing what AI can do, think about this. How could stuff like Sora change how we tell stories? What about how we see the things we watch and listen to? What kinds of new creative stuff can we come up with when human imagination meets AI?
It's a brave new world out there for sure. I'm kind of excited to see what we do with it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.